Li Dailin, or as I like to call her, Li Di, is an alcoholic martial artist. Li Di had intentionally tossed away her inheritance in history to dispose of the teachings bestowed upon her by her family. With alcohol as her vice, Li Di listlessly partakes in experimentation, always with the bottle by her side. Hey yes, I'm Chugobi Yao, and this episode will be covering Li Dailin, a playable character from the game Eternal Return. The information I will be providing will not just be from ER, but also from the first game of the series, Immortal Soul. With all these pieces collected, we will try and understand more about the character and see if additional info can be discovered in ER's universe. With that being said, let's get started. Li Di's reason for being on Lumi Island isn't fully clear. It's already established that she's not in it for a purpose, be it a positive or a negative impact on her life. All threats and offers made by Aglaya were all dead ends. However, she doesn't impede the experiments either. She doesn't look for trouble, and instead seeks the next alcoholic beverage she can get. By my guess, she is in a depressive state that is unaligned with the means of self-harm, but also has zero desire for purpose and accolade. Li Di most likely sees Lumi Island as the easiest way to stay a loafer, have minimal responsibilities, and dull herself in alcohol whenever she wants. Many staff and test subjects see her as a waste, a hindrance, or an eyesore. And while that does irritate Li Di to hear, she doesn't resolve to prove anyone, including herself, as wrong. Before partaking in the experimentation, Li Dailin was the daughter of two martial artists, both parents grandmasters in their long lineage of the practice. With a politically arranged marriage of two martial arts schools, they had born and raised Li Di into the practice at an extremely young age. Unfortunately, her parents died as early as their actions, her father to sickness and her mother in combat. This left Li Di to be raised by her uncle, and while he kept up the traditions of the family and martial arts practice with Li Di, he too eventually left her on her own, for his own development of martial arts. Only alcohol was the one friend she ever made. Resentment and abandonment stirred up within Li Di, and not only did she renounce martial arts, but also blamed her family for her pain that she sold all inheritance related to them and the arts as her act of defiance. On accomplishing the one and only thing in life that she truly wanted to do for herself, and decide to do it on her own being, she spends the rest of her days as a loafer. Li Dailin's martial arts skills are trained and refined thoroughly, and her physical capabilities are already natural and innate to her, even if she hates that aspect about herself. So, while there isn't any vital force connected to her lore as of yet, it's more likely to be connected to her drunken stupor or her blood alcohol content. As she becomes more and more under the influence, her inhibitors of attitude, martial arts, and power get fiercer. Not only is alcohol the closest thing into her life in her entire life, but it's also the one thing that she'll fight for. With such a tie to herself, it is the enabler to utilizing VF because it's both reflective and personal to Li Di. Liquor is the apparent thing she'll like, and with it naturally comes the snacks that can be paired with such drinks. Just as obvious as how she dislikes being associated with martial arts, and those try to tell her to be better. However, she will only verbalize her annoyance with them. As already established, her parents taught her martial arts young and died soon after. Her uncle fostered her until her middle school years and left. With these as the only bonds gone so quickly, she became a loner and was known around town as Beggar Li. When it comes to other test subjects, she enjoys food from Shukai, and while he actually does note her appreciation and will happily cook for her, she sometimes will take the cooking wand that Shukai uses, which will then cause a fight. Jenny reveals her bratty side before Li Di because she won't judge Jenny for being as such. Li Dailin does not get alongside William due to a conflict of behavior. Same with Fiora and Rosie. Sylvia seems to be the one of the few that doesn't chastise her. Mai is likely the closest to a friend in Lumi Island, as they've been seen sharing drinks together and hanging around Lumi Island on drunken hikes. Even when they were on a team together, they peacefully went around Lumi Island just around a drink. She is seen enjoying drinks with Johan, but doesn't actually enjoy the company, as Johan will go into preaching when he's drunk. When Li Dailin was on a team with Daniel, she accidentally did something that he attacked her for, but she managed to resolve it unscathed and just simply let it be. As a test subject, Li Di does what she needs to do. If she's under threat, her body innately adapts and moves in response, more so especially when she's drunk. To stay drunk, she will look around Luma Island for a drink and has been recorded to somehow acquire alcohol with ease, despite it not being a supposed common thing to find. I wish I could add more to this segment, but Li Di has no voice lines in her ER fan kit directed to other test subjects. Come on, Nimble Noran. You neglected her voice lines like her own lore. Li Dailin is one I don't think I can vouch for to pursue until she gets the proper help she deserves. This poor woman needs therapy and a proper hug before a romantic stage in her life. I can't even joke on the meme of, I can fix her, because I believe she would benefit greatly from having a certified therapist to help with the history and the pain suffered for being neglected. Instead of being told to be better, like some other test subjects, she'd be better to hear that it's okay and she's wonderful regardless of martial arts or alcohol. A little awkward to find in the environment of Lumi Island, but I will stand by the statement before she has to be with anyone in a serious relationship. A waifu and skill in the flat is justice meme, but please, don't try to coax her with more alcohol. She won't rely on you to find alcohol and won't even kick your ass if you're into that, because that's just too much trouble for her. Again, treat Lee Dee with hope, and that the past, with its lack of nurture that she didn't get to have, does not dictate who she is. Lee Dee is a saddening character for the cast of Eternal Return. Not to say that there isn't other sad stories in the universe, but just coming from Sylvia and Irem in previous episodes to now Lee Dailin's background, there's already a showing of how many backgrounds can be written into ER. Lee Dailin fits well in the universe of ER, and while she doesn't push anything quite fascinating or as wild as some other cast members, she is still a solid test subject character, but if anything, she reminds me that the original cast truly had some human elements, both relatable and sympathetic for some. Honestly, we need it sometimes in media just to give it a chance on the hope of redemption. I just hope that, well, she actually truly does find something better and more hopeful for her in her future in time with Lumi Island. Sayonara's. Oh, and Dragon Dancer Lee Dailin is her best skin. And also, please stop having her two-shot someone. What the